Hello all, and welcome to my list of the top 5 best purchases you can make in Tower Defense X for Roblox. Just before we get started, I do want to mention this list talks about the purchases that are going to be the most beneficial, not the best towers in the game. So that doesn't just mean Golden Juggernaut's top one. It was difficult to put this list together because I had to really think about what towers helped me the most when I progressed the game at first. But anyways, let's get straight into the list with our honorable mentions up first. We have 3 honorable mentions, and the first of them being the XWM turret. The XWM turret is known for its survivability, able to outlast any other tower in the game due to its rebuilding feature, where it can repair itself up to 3 times before being truly dead. XWM turret can also get stealth detection on both paths, which is very nice, along with its ability to ignore bullet resistance on the top path or get explosive damage on the bottom. While that sounds awesome, XWM turret is very expensive to place and upgrade. It's also coming with a placement limit. Sadly, this means the XWM turret does not get on the list. Up next for our honorable mentions is going to be the Warship. Warship is definitely one of the cooler towers in Tower Defense X, and it comes with a few drawbacks, some of which are big enough to make the Warship not reach the list. One downside of the Warship is that it needs a massive area in the ocean to place. This means that most hard and impossible maps, with a few exceptions of course, cannot even have warships at all, as there's no place to place them in. Warship also has a very high requirement for purchase, being a costly 75,000 gold, along with a level 100 requirement. This means the Warship does not join the rest of the towers on the list, despite how cool it is. Finally, our last honorable mention on the list is Golden Juggernaut. Now, I know you might be thinking, how is this one not on the list? I'll tell you, Golden Juggernaut is most expensive. It's 85,000 gold, and sure, it's because it's extremely powerful, and I understand how powerful it is, especially when compared to the regular Juggernaut, but the Golden Juggernaut is not required to beat any of the main 4 modes. Easy, medium, elite, or expert. It's not required for any of those. It's only needed for endless. It's also extremely expensive to place and upgrade, making it really hard to get a lot of them placed down, unless you have a lot of farms. With that out of the way, let's start with number 5 on our list. You may or may not be surprised, but I'm actually giving number 5 to the Grenadier. Grenadier is a very powerful tower that costs a low 2,750 gold to purchase. It doesn't cost much to place either, making it, viable for bait and also viable for early game. It can fend off a few waves on its own with consistent upgrades, and in mid to late game, it's very viable with its bottom path stunning enemies. Overall, Grenadier is an amazing tower, and every person should look at purchasing it at some point. At number 4, we have one of the newest towers in Tower Defense X, the Slimer. The Slimer is a tower that can be placed early, but won't be as effective as the Grenadier until she's upgraded. Slimer is the master of stunning enemies, whether it be with hidden detection using the bottom path, or stunning bosses on the top path, and that means stunning Calamity even. Slimer is, as I mentioned, great for early game, but it is also amazing at any point due to its ability to stun at any enemy in the game. Oh, did I mention it's also cheap enough to use as bait? Slimer, despite having such a high requirement of 75 levels and 22,000 gold, is a must buy. We're entering the top 3 here, and it's safe to say every player should consider these towers, especially when they're able to unlock them. It's going to be given to the Armored Factory here. That's right, number 3 goes to the Armored Factory, and the Armored Factory is an incredibly powerful tower. It summons units to push up the path, much like the barracks. However, the Armored Factory can summon very, very powerful units, such as the M2 Bradley and the M1X Abrams. These units, while being on the opposite paths, work with extreme efficiency to take down enemies. The Armored Factory can not only negate leaks, but it can also deal massive DPS when combined with a few more. Armored Factory is one of the best towers in the game, and I highly recommend it to all players. At number 2, we have the ever-famous Juggernaut. It didn't quite make the top 1 spot, but the Juggernaut is still amazing, and it might not be the best in Endless, but overall, Juggernaut is amazing for easy, intermediate, elite, and expert, and even at Endless, it can still work quite well. It pretty much takes on the role of a DPS powerhouse, and it's able to shred anything in its path. It also costs only 13,000 gold, so even though it's not as good as its golden counterpart, I say it's more viable, especially in the core modes. The Juggernaut might not be the best in Endless, but it's still an amazing unit to carry no matter where you go, what map you play, or what mode you play. And lastly, we reach the number 1 spot. You might be surprised, or you might not be, to see the farm. The farm is taking number 1, as the farm is super essential to pretty much any loadout. It's not absolutely required, but it assists more than any other tower in the game. It's one of the absolute best towers in Endless, and everyone playing Endless should definitely take it, despite what's in their loadout. The farm works extremely efficiently in the classic mode as well. All around, the farm is an amazing tower that should never be underestimated, as it, as I mentioned, allows any loadout to just flow much easier. Do not overlook the farm, for even though it doesn't deal any damage, it can heal your base over long periods of time and give an exceedingly high amount of cash. This concludes my list for the best purchases in Tower Defense X. Let me know your thoughts on this list by leaving a comment down below. If you enjoy the content, be sure to leave a like on the video as well. Consider subscribing for more gaming content. I'm planning on making a few more videos on TDX as well, one of them being the top 5 worst purchases you can make in TDX, so similar to this, just the worst ones. And I also want to make a video talking about the upcoming Tower Battles update as well. With that, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves an excellent day, night, afternoon, or whatever time it is for you, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.